Good morning, Tucker. Are you trying to get in the van? Yes, you are. Okay, I'll let you in a second. Good morning. As you can see, Tucker's ready to go in the van as normal. And welcome back to Hammond's Upholstery. Let's have a walk through and see what we've got going on this week. Right, so we have the nursing chair that's waiting to be collected today at some point. We have this grey swivel chair, the base isn't there, and a stool. The fabric's on order for that, so as soon as that's in we can get on with that. I've got a few tools out because I'm on my way to do a collection. A leather sofa with a collapsed seat, so that would be coming with me in the van very shortly to do that collection. We have the 6 dining chairs and 4 seat pads ready to go back to the customer this afternoon. I think they look smashing. You'll have seen them in the last video. And we have this, the customer called it a captain's chair, but it's a Carver chair. It's the captain's chair from the particular golf club he's a member at. And we're replacing this seat. He finds this seat very uncomfortable. He did want me to put a back pad on it as well, but that idea has changed. So we're just replacing the seat pad with a seat pad more along this line, so a lot thicker with a border on it and a piped edge. So we've got to make a new board for that, foam it up, and it's being covered in this leather, old English leather, and it's having the grey piping on it. So I'm going to get this done and out of the way first, but first of all I need to go and collect this 3-seater sofa. Hopefully it's not just it's part of the 3-seater sofa, because I'm not in the mood for lumping big recliner sofas around this morning, but we will see. So I'll go and do that collection, bring it back to the workshop, and you can have a look at a little bit more detail about what that's involved with that, should I say, and then I'll get on with this captain's chair over my shoulder. Okay, so on with this captain's chair or comfort chair. We have the original seat here, so I've used this as a template to cut a new board out. It's 18mm ply, so it's definitely not going to go anywhere. Excuse me. But I am going to cut a hole out in the centre here on web and canvas this board, because otherwise it's too solid. Especially with the foam that I'm going to be putting on it, is just going to be just as uncomfortable as this other seat because it's too firm. So I'm going to cut that out with the jigsaw and then web and canvas it and put a foam on it. Okay, so here's the board. I've got the top marked on it. I've got about 3-4 mil clearance all the way around here because we're going to be using a leather, so we need quite a clearance but to get it to fit into the chair. So we're just going to mark this out now, a hole in the centre. We don't want the hole too big because it's going to weaken this frame, okay, and if you put too much tension on the webbing or sometimes even springs, it can warp the shape of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave, I would say, about 2.5 inches all the way round. So just mark that out. drill in the corner and simply go round it with my jigsaw. Oh, knocked tin of silicone spray over. Still very cold here. It's warming up a little bit. It's good because I don't need to have the blower on so much. Okay. So hopefully you can see that there. That's what I'm going to cut out of this bit. So we'll start off by drilling the corner. Go. And we can start cut this out with the jigsaw. Centre. There's that first. Just gonna give the edges a quick sand up. So one seat pad. I know this is the top side because I marked this side, so this should fit back into the frame nicely with a bit of webbing and some canvas on there. Just give me a nicer seat. So I'm going to use jute webbing for this particular application. The elastic webbing, the stretch in it, I don't want the seat to dip too much, so we're going to use the jute webbing, which gives a bit more support than the elastic, even if it's only 10% stretch elastic. So fold the end of the webbing over, put the web strainers on it, give it a good pull. Three webs in each direction will be fine. Stay bolt. As always, you always run out of staples at the inopportune moment. to put the webbing on hand tight. It is easier if you've got two boards because you can use a cantilever process, but you can still do it with one board. But if you don't tension the webbing, it's going to stretch very quickly. It gives it just enough movement on there, right, so it gives more comfortable seat. Only have elastic webbing to hand, just use elastic webbing. A lot of this is preference and experience. But definitely don't use back webbing because that is just going to stretch very quickly. Some of these loose seats would have been sprung once upon a time as well. Not necessarily with a frame like this, it would have been a hardwood frame. Are more durable than this. So, bit of fabric is needed. There you go. So we'll canvas this before we put the foam on. Yep, pull your canvas tight. Canvas doesn't add much support, but what it does do is stop the foam from being damaged by the webs. So after a little bit of movement, the webbing will cut through the foam and the foam will fall through the bottom. Putting the canvas on prevents that from happening firstly. For the webbing. Right. So the foam to go on. I'm going to put the kettle on and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so this is the foam that we're going to use for this. It's made up of a 50mm 6-pound chip recon with a 1/2 inch 12mm 39 blue foam on the top. It's exactly the same foam that I use on my stall tops, which I showed you earlier. So these are the bar stool tops that we sell online. So this seat's going to be made up in the same manner. Right, so I have a foam saw. You can use a bread knife or electric red knife, whatever you want, but I just have foam saw because save that bit. Okay, so there's our foam. So I've cut the foam so it's just overhanging the edge of the foam by a mil or so. We don't want it to interfere with the recess it sits into the frame. So we're not going to put anything else on this other than that. It's very flat in the middle here, so just to give it a little bit of a dome, I'm going to put a piece of couple of pieces of 1/2 inch foam in there. In the centre, just give it a little bit of a addition in the centre. Glue them onto here. Don't want moving around. Put the foam back on. That's better. Less of a dip in the centre. I think that's fine. Any more than that. So we'll glue this onto the board now. Use carpet adhesive that you can buy from your local hardware store, I'm presuming, or carpet fitters. So it comes in a tin similar to this. The amount I use, I purchased this in the larger cylinders. Spray both sides. So that's our seat pad ready to be upholstered now. So space here, tidy up a bit, bits and pieces away as we go. So as I showed you earlier, this seat is going to be in this red leather. So we've only got this piece of red leather, so I've got to be careful with my cutting because I've not only got to get the top, I've got to get the strips for the borders out of it. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to go round in one piece for the border, so we're going to have a join on each corner, and then we're going to have the piping on the top. So let's get the sawdust off my cutting table, and then I can mark out. So I'm we're just going to examine this piece of hide for scars, marks and so on. We want to avoid them. It's pretty good actually, it's a nice clean piece of hide. So we can try and place this on to be as sparing as we can with the hide. We need 1/2 inch for our sewing. There we go. So along here I will then have at least one nice long piece to do 2 sides, and then I'll get the other 2 sides out of here. I may actually move this to here. There you go. I think that's the best, most economical spot there. Just turn that over and check that's all okay. There's a lot to learn about hide and what parts of hide are used in what portions. I'm not going to go into it here now with you. I'm sure there are plenty of sites that will explain it better than I will. So, find a pen. Let's mark that. So I'm just marking around, and then I'm going to add my allowance to it. And then I can cut the 4 borders out of the remnants left, and the piping out of the grey leather here. So I'll get these cut and come back to you and show you the component parts before I sew them up. Right, so I've got the component parts cut for this stool top here, seat pad. So we have the top, 1, 2, 3, with four sides, and then we have the piping. I'm going to have to join the piping, so I'm going to skive this end off here and the opposite side on this one and glue it to it so we get a near invisible join, and then I'm going to sew said items up. That shouldn't take too long, so I'll come back to you once they're sewn up and ready to go on the cover. Right, so there we have it. New seat pad. About 2 inches thick. It's going to be a lot more comfortable than the old seat pad. I quite like the contrasted piping. Apparently it's their club colours, so even better still. So let me show you. There's the old pad and the new one underneath it. So they get to keep their old pad just in case at some point a member wants to change it back, but it's done, ready for the customer to go back to them. So now we have these, and where am I pointing here? Right, leather sofa repairs. Leather sofa repairs. We're replacing the foam in these. You can see the foam is escaping out of the back. This is going to need a repair doing to it. And then there's the chair, which is basically the same. So that's what I'm on with next. I think that's going to be about it for this video, otherwise it starts to drag on a bit. We'll make the leather sofas part of another video. So as always, I hope you've enjoyed this. You maybe learnt something along the way. It's just what we get up to in the workshop here. So it's not meant to be instructional, it's entertainment. Everybody has a different way of doing things. This is just how I like to do things. So I hope you've enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks again for watching. Bye bye.